All right. So, one for one translation, please can you respond to your mind is fully engaged in me. Your lives devoted to me. Udaliam Saha. Parasparam. Among themselves. Kathayam Saha. Manam. About Nityam. Perpetually. Tushanti. Become pleased. Cha. Also. Ramanti. Enjoy transcendental bliss. Cha. Also. So the translation. By His divine grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Please kindly. Their lives are fully devoted to my service. And they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So this is Krishna talking. He's describing his pure devotees, what they do, what are their characteristics, features. Essentially, if you love somebody, you'll be talking about that person. Sometimes we carry the picture of our loved ones in our pockets. So, Krishna is saying, those who really love him, his pure devotees, yeah, they talk about him all the time. They talk about him all the time. So, purport by His divine grace is confounded China, so A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their thoughts are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing him with other devotees. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. And in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of Godhead. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe. And out of them, there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed And it is sown on the heart in the heart of a living entity. And if it goes on hearing and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That seed fructifies, just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahma Jyoti effulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky also, that plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called what? Goloka Vrindavan, the supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as the plant grows, fruits and flowers, that plant or devotional service also produces fruits. And watering and the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. This plant of devotional service is fully described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 19. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God. Then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord. Just as a fish cannot live without water. In such a state, the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such narrations about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees. As stated in the Bhagavatam itself, 12th canto, chapter 13, text 18, Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priya. In this narration, there is nothing about material activities, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is clearly described. Thus, the realized souls in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in hearing such transcendental literature, just as a young boy and girl take pleasure in association. The analogy is here a little bit, very much self-explanatory. Om Gyana Timirandasya, Gyana Jana Salakaya, Saksu Militam, Jena Tasmai, Si Gurube Namaha. Chichetanya Manobistam, Safitam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupa Kadamayam, Dadati Swapadantikam. Panchakalpataribhya cha, Kripasamambhya eva cha, Patitanam Om. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Chari. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodata Kudadai Puspavantu Chita Chandra. So welcome everyone to our famous Sunday feast taking place here in Boston. So we just had wonderful celebration of 60th anniversary of Prabhupada's arrival to Boston. How many? Oh, quite a number of you. Okay, that's good. And Just like people always they celebrating their wins in change management. Each time you achieve some accomplishments, you celebrate the win. So we also celebrated this year. We just celebrated the 60th anniversary of Prabhupada's arrival to Boston. And Prabhupada is a typical example of a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. He's very dear to Krishna, all that. He devoted the whole of his life to spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. So someone may do something and we may not have the enthusiasm to be able to appreciate what they have done. But at least from within our hearts, we should be thinking, yes, this person did something very amazing to me. That's why we are all here. Without Prabhupada, I don't think that majority of us would have come to Krishna consciousness. I see most of you are of Indian background. People come from India to America. They come for a greener pasture. I know a number of people, a number of my Indian friends, they said they never knew about Krishna consciousness when they were in India. Come to America, they see white swamis, all these things. They say, what? And Prabhupada was very expert in his strategy to spread Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada tried to establish Krishna consciousness in India. He was not very successful. Of course, his spiritual master instructed him to spread Krishna consciousness in the Western world, English-speaking countries. And so, as a pure devotee, he valued the instruction of his spiritual master. And the instruction of his spiritual master was encapsulated with empowerment. Prabhupada stayed in Radha Damodar temple for some years after taking sannyas. Sannyas is the renunciation of life. And Prabhupada, he was a grihasta, he had kids. But then eventually he renounced everything and took to the mission of Lord Krishna fully. By his mercy, we became exposed to the ideologies, the teachings, and the practices of Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada is a typical example of a pure devotee that we can identify, we can reckon with. We can reckon his accomplishments. We can reckon with his transcendental values. One of the primary symptoms of a devotee is that they have developed character. And so Prabhupada was completely beyond the bodily concept of life. In fact, when he started his mission in New York at 26 Second Avenue, although he was in such a poverty-stricken situation, even little things he had, he shared it with his followers. Like after, he had all these Bhagavad Gita discourses in the evening at his storefront. And he had some apples to eat, but he would chop the apples and give it to everybody who comes to the program. He didn't wait to become a billionaire before he shared his resources. Sometimes we wait. I want to become a great guy, and then I can take to this Krishna consciousness seriously. But we don't need to wait. And anybody who takes to Krishna consciousness can also become a pure devotee. Why not? And I remember, I was having some program with some Russian devotees, Russian audience. And one of my friends, she's a management scientist, a professor. And so we generated a flyer and we distributed. It was about procrastination in Krishna consciousness. This professor, she said, Maharaj, this is exactly what I think. I think next life. I will be serious next life, you know. But then we don't know what the next life is going to turn out to be. Kali Yoga is becoming more and more degraded. And the pure devotees are moving around trying to help to plant the seeds of Krishna consciousness, water those seeds so that they'll sprout up to become plants. They continue to water so that they become trees, develop fruits and flowers, and eventually to be able to grow, and then penetrate, pierce through the universal covering, and enter into the spiritual world. Continue to grow. This is the description given here. These analogies, they are in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we have a lot of books. We don't come and just talk philosophy and there's no reference. Where did you get this? Oh, well, I saw it on the internet. And so the pure devotee is very dear to Krishna, and Krishna bestows his blessings on the pure devotee. Lord Brahma, who is the secondary creator, he said, Brahma had many wonderful sons. He had many wonderful kids, powerful sages. But he said, of all his kids, Narada Muni is the best. Why is Narada Muni the best of Lord Brahma's sons? Because according to Lord Brahma, Narada Muni embodies the wealth of Krishna. He said Narada this is the best of his son, because Narada goes about the whole of the universe distributing Krishna consciousness. We want to be dear to Krishna, we should try to become agents of spreading Krishna consciousness. That is how Lord Brahma. But we can't become agents of spreading Krishna consciousness if we are not practicing. We will not have the zeal. Because when you have something, suppose you have money and you're not a miser, you'll be motivated to give charity. I see in America, so many people are charitably disposed. But not the poor people. Don't have money even to eat 3 square meals. How are you going to think about, charity? So similarly, if we don't practice, if we don't imbibe Krishna consciousness, we will not be impaired to distribute Krishna consciousness to others. When we have something we want to share. Why? Because sharing magnifies the happiness derived from the participation in that very event. Suppose you made the best of feast. You cook your feast. You don't feel so satisfied except your family come around and everybody's eating. That gives you more happiness. So the pure devotee is happy. It takes all types of risks to spread Krishna consciousness. What age did Prabhupada leave India to come here? And at that age, people should retire. In the West, in Jaladuta, not by airplane. And so just see the love the pure devotee has for the conscious souls. If we want to do something, we're thinking, what is in there for me? But the pure devotee is thinking, what is in there for Krishna's servants? What is in there for the jivas? What am I going to do to help in leveraging the consciousness of human society? These days we have so many challenges, but there is no external challenge that could deter us from participating and helping to spread Krishna consciousness. Let me say, well, I have some kids, I don't have the time. I may say I'm too busy with my job. I don't have the time. We can have very good many excuses. But no, life is too short. Life is too short to play games with. Therefore, Srila Vyasadeva mentions in the 11th text of the Upanishad that we should incorporate our professional career with devotional practice to facilitate expedited attainment of liberation. We're not saying leave your job or leave your family, but there should be integration of your career, your family development, and devotional practice. So we don't have excuses. And so basically, everybody in this world, we want to be endeared to somebody. We want to have loved ones. Someone who we should be looking up to as, yeah, this is my loved one. But what qualifies someone to be your loved one? What? Yes, Bolo, tell me. What is the expectation of your loved one? What should they be doing for you? Bolo, can someone share something? Yeah, what are you expecting? Yes, Bolo. They should love you. That is not unconditional love. Yes, Bolo.
According to certain people, any sentient being deserves an equal amount of love because they are cognizant of what's going on.
Oh yeah. Any other person to add some value to this? Yes. Empathy. Okay. You're very good. Yes. What are you expecting from your loved ones? Very good. You don't expect anything from your loved ones. Yeah. That is called unconditional love. Prabhupada never expected anything from the hippies and potheads and, what will potheads do for the pure devotee? In fact, it was a risk he took. So people want to see how much we love them. And I find this very tricky with even some of our devotees, because you have a family and then your family members are not participating, they are not joining you to practice Krishna consciousness, you become so upset with from members of the family. That is too gross a conditional love. And so if we have to do something because we want this person to be part of it, and if they are not part of it, if they disagree with, it's the same thing. If someone disagrees with you, then it becomes your enemy. It's like everybody must fall in line with your thoughts and ideologies. And this happens a lot in the families, isn't it? Your children don't agree with you, then you want to show your Ishvara Bhava. Everybody must be on their knees. But love doesn't really, it doesn't have to be in that way. It doesn't. The pure devotee loves the living entities. It does not expect anything from anybody other than facilitating the spiritual growth of the jiva. And so we should be very much appreciative of what Prabhupada has done to us. Without Prabhupada, the pure devotee of the Lord Krishna, without him who is so dear to Lord Krishna, we will not be here hearing these topics. This temple will not be here. So the point is, what can we do to help Prabhupada in his mission? What can we do. We're not saying give the whole of your life. Some people, some of these people are putting on this clause. They give the whole of your lives. We're not saying give the whole of your life, but what can you do to help Prabhupada? He has done so much for the world. He's done so much for us. He created an avenue where we can see the way, the exit from the shackles of material bondage. And nobody can do this. If even someone says they want to give you a legacy of billions of dollars, that will now create an avenue where you'll be able to extricate yourself from the shackles of repeated birth and death. No. In fact, the richer you are, the more likely that your wealth will create so much trouble, because by the time you die, even your own kids, they will go to court, to the Supreme Court. If there's no will written down, some people, they don't care about wills. So, to know, to understand who is dear to Krishna, this verse gives us some insight. The devotee is dear to Lord Krishna. The pure devotee is dear to Lord Krishna. Why? Because he is fulfilling Krishna's objective of man mana bhava man bhakti. Always thinking about the Lord. Yeah. So always thinking about. See, if of course there are, if someone is our enemy, also we can think about them all the time. But in most cases, we think about our loved ones all the time. So Krishna requires of us to learn to love him by practicing how to think about it. And this practice is made easy when we associate with devotees. We come for satsang, we participate in the kirtans, and we also do japa. How many people here do japa every day privately? Japa means chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra on beads. There are so many people on the planet who have taken to this process of chanting. And therefore, we should also see how we are incorporating this simple process. See, in previous ages, spiritual cultivation could be a challenge. But in this iron age is subsumed in Kali Yuga. I mean, in this plastic age is subsumed in Kali Yuga, in the iron age. We say it's iron age, but we're actually beyond iron age. We are in plastic age. Because even the airplanes are made with plastics. But then the beauty is that Krishna consciousness creates or enables a sustainable lifestyle that can help us to become better off in whatever we are doing. Why? Because, for instance, the chanting of the holy names, one of the positive side effects is that it helps us to have a better cognitive skills. Managers, learners, teachers, they need good cognitive skills. And this process of devotional service, this chanting.
Your point, people who are thinking, what is there, whatever they do, what is there for me? What isn't there for me? See, for us who are connected to the spirituality, we try to live dharmic, righteously, and Vasudeva Kuruvam, even share that best the way of life, like the way Sri Krishna taught, Prabhupada taught. So connecting the spirituality.
Yeah.
But the people who are not connected to the spirituality, so the thinking in the world is that is the point. It is there for me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have seen that. So, I mean, the point you raised, how do you, for example, how do you answer that
Mm,
when you come across those people?
right.
That kind of thinking, you see that in the world
Uh-huh.
more and more.
Yeah. So I can explain that. Um, we were in Calcutta for a program, and at uh, a couple's home, and their daughter is doing a PhD in quantum physics, and so she was not really like participating in the process. The parents are preparing for initiation, and so, but then the parents told her about my background, so she became interested to stay in the class. So after the discussion, after my presentation, this was one of the questions she asked. She said, Maharaj, what is in there in the chanting? She wants to understand what is in there for me. Don't tell me, you're going to become purified and go back to God. I mean, right here and now, what is in there for me? So I gave some, a detailed explanation to her about how the chanting, yes, the objective of the chanting is Krishna Prema Pumato Maha, to develop pure love for Krishna. But there are many positive side effects. Just like every therapy has some side effect. If you undergo chemotherapy to deal with a cancer situation, deal with the cancer cells, but it will also create some side effects. So this chanting is a therapy, it's a spiritual therapy, and it also has side effects. But the good news is that the side effects are very good. And for students, it helps to promote high attention span. And you need high attention span to be successful in educational career. You need high attention span to be able to manage your organization properly. You need high attention span to be able to lead your community, your family. And beside high attention span, the chanting also has been proven scientifically to be a useful tool in promoting mental health. For instance, anxiety, depression, stress, the chanting. If you go to Google Scholar, you check, you Google this, chanting Hare Krishna mantra, stress, anxiety, depression, you get so many peer-reviewed published works scientifically proving how the chanting helps to mitigate this type of mental health challenges. So I gave all these explanations to her, and she was very enlivened. So yeah, even your kids, if you can have in America, yeah, it's so common. You have a kid, and then you want the kid to to chant, and chant and be happy. Well, a typical American toddler or child will say, "Dad, I'm happy." So what would you say? So therefore, we need to understand the positive side effects, because uh, all of this scientific research, they are conducted in most cases by non-devotees. So you can't say it is a biased research. They are very objective. And so we have a number of scientific evidence to show how this process of devotional service facilitates positive change in individual lives. Yeah. So yeah, that question is relevant, and we have to know all of this scientific basis of Krishna consciousness to be able to address this issue of what is in there. Yeah. So thank you. So any other comments or questions? Because our time is already going. Yes.
I find somebody did not have anything to do with Hinduism because of but what I thought was actually culture and not coming from religion at all. And by the end of it, they actually went and got a copy of Bhagavad Gita as it is after that, right? I felt good about it.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, the Krishna consciousness teachings are very objective, and you can present it in any way. Traditionally, don't present it as a religion, because even the very founding of the Sankirtan movement by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the movement was founded on the basis of science. Lord Chaitanya utilized the model we call it synergy, and synergy means when two or more people come together to do a particular thing, the result is always greater than individuals doing that same thing and bringing the results together. So Lord Chaitanya said, come together. Let's come together and chant. It creates a greater momentum, greater results. The effects are greater. So my point is, this movement was founded on the basis of science, a scientific model called synergy. Okay. Yes.
How many times needs to be chanted, and is there any method like times per
Yeah.
day or something?
Yeah. For devotees in general, we recommend chanting at least 16 rounds every day.
16.
16 rounds. You know, you go around the beats, it's one round.
Okay, got it.
You go round again, you come back around 2 rounds, again, 16. And a number of the devotees, they don't just chant 16 rounds. I remember one of my students, one of my mentees, when she was schooling in Colombia, you know, she was chanting like 32 rounds. And I had to beg her that, hey, come down to 16 because you need so much of time for your studies. And the explanation she gave was that she was frightened with the university environment. Why? I remember one time she told me how she was coming out from a class. Professor just left, and then they were coming out to the lobby. She saw a boy and a girl having sex in the lobby. And so she was frightened to not get into Maya. And so she raised her chanting. So the point is, yeah, if someone is not even able to chant 16 rounds because of whatever reasons, they should still chant. We always have a need to chant because we benefit by even the little effort we put in. One girl was staying, one Chinese girl, she was studying economics in University of Columbia some years ago. Has her roommate, and so during exam period, she was studying economics. And during exam period, she was so much stressed out. So she came into the room one day and she was complaining to the devotee that I am finished, I'm dying. And so the roommate, who is a devotee, said, Can you try what I do every morning? Can you try these prayers? So she taught her how to do it. She was so much stressed. But just by chanting only once, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. She gave her beads to this girl to chant. And you know what happens? The girl chanted once, and immediately she could feel it. She said, I feel better. So she said, try again, like that, until she just encouraged her to chant by one round, and the girl jumped off and said, I'm fine. Yeah, so these are just practical ways. And sometimes we don't really understand the scientific basis of Krishna consciousness, and then we give some excuses why we cannot do something, or why we cannot chant, or why we cannot come to the programs, or why we don't want to read. But we stand to gain. Yeah. So it may not require so much in the beginning, but start something. Isn't it? Yes. Any other points? Any other comments? Yes,
I
please.
was going to say, continue on your point. So, Srila Prabhupada's association was contagious. Everyone around him was felt it. I feel it through you.
I'm nothing.
I know. But what I wanted to say, so when I was 4 years old, I was riding in the car with Srila Prabhupada on the way from the airport, and he broke this cookie off, gave me a piece. And at the time, I was dressed as a sannyasi, and I had a danda, and I wanted to take first, second, and third initiation from Prabhupada in Los Angeles. And I thought, and so I was, and then I ate this cookie, and I'm thinking, wash my hands. And I was like, oh my gosh, Prabhupada's going to know that I'm not a Brahmin. He's not going to do an initiation. And then Prabhupada ate his piece, and then he just went like this. And from that, that was the closest I was ever next to him. And I understood time, place, and circumstance. So I have children, and when you're young, nobody wants to hear about Krishna. Because, but two people come to Krishna. The people that are suffering, and then the people that have everything, and that's still not enough. And that's what happens. That's the material world. In the material world, you can either not get what you want and suffer, or you can get what you want and still suffer. We have everything. And so what I would say with chanting is scientific. It works no matter what. You just do. It's like exercise. You go in. The goal is to always think of Krishna, yes, but the chanting, even separate from thinking of Krishna, it will balance you.
Sure.
It will allow you to give up bad habits. You can replace the bad habit with a good habit. So I would say it's not a religion, it's a science.
Sure.
Because there's been times I've chanted, I'm angry with Krishna, but still I chant. So it's not, it doesn't matter. You just do it. It's like you go to the gym, you're gonna get that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
By the way, Prabhu, I love Bhakti Swami. I traveled with him in the Eastern Bloc when I was so young. And I was so enlivened. I think it's one of my favorite I miss his association. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. I will still have about 5 more minutes, particularly about time. This is America. So we have 5 more minutes, and except there is no other comments or questions, then we can.
I apologize for calling it a religion. I just don't know any other context with the
It's okay. There's a it's multifaceted approach. People see through different lenses, but the goal is the same. Okay, don't worry. Any other comments or questions? These young people, you're all chanting? Acha. Chanting 16 rounds? How many rounds? 2 or 3. Okay. Yeah, whatever you're doing, try to see how you are improving. Set some goals, because the more you get into it, the more you relish it, the more you benefit, and the more you can share those ideas with people. Especially in Kali Yuga, 21st century, whatever the case, whatever it is, everyone is like an endangered species, because the world is turning topsy-turvy, and it's not just going to be better tomorrow. Sometimes we think things are going to be rosy tomorrow in the future. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Please be seated for a minute. Let's go a big round of applause to His Holiness Bhakti Vasudeva. Today is the last day, so please meet him. Are you there for 2 minutes? If anybody wants to
I'm still hanging out.
Also, he'll be here, so if you want, you can meet him. So today's feast is sponsored by our dear Mahadev family, Sachi Mata and their entire family, for their ancestors, and especially for our His instructor will go. So let's offer up next.
Where's it goes down? Yeah, Haribo. Hare Krishna. I need to urinate. Your room is open there, downstairs, sir? That room downstairs, is it open? The room here, is it open? I need to urinate. Wow. Oh, bunch of loads of plants. Mataji's. Okay, can I urinate? Mm. Mm. Hare Krishna. Austin. So today is my last day. When is that solution getting angry? You have an idea? 20 what? Friday's what? Okay. Because I also ordered this. I also
She's a yoga instructor and she was very happy to spread Krishna's message. Yeah, yeah, it's my
Related Krishna conscious happy birthday.
She really liked the chanting science.
My birthday, it doesn't matter.
Your time to
Exactly.
special like a Christian festival.
And she's Muslim. She's coming from Saudi Arabia.
No, I said what's the day date for this?
January 31st.
Thank you. Like you
No,
not say
no.
happy 31st.
Please, it's